My father, being a physician, is a very good man, and academically, all his life he's been at the top. And he's a physician. In India, we have a malice that first thing is you become a doctor. If you cannot, you become an engineer. If you cannot, then only you end up in commerce. At least in the previous generation. When we are growing up, that is the thing. So, obviously his dream is, I should become a doctor. I hope he's not on the web listening to me. Because he studied in such a way that he didn't study because for him it was a passion. He lost his mother when he was 4 years of age and she died of tuberculosis. So though he's from a very large business family, he committed that he will become a doctor because somewhere a 4-year-old boy felt that if there was a good doctor, the mother would have lived. So he committed that he wants to become a doctor. For him, being a doctor was not a profession, it was like his religion. He lived like that. So naturally, he wanted all the 4 siblings, all his 4 children rather, to become doctors. First one didn't become, second one didn't become, third one didn't become, I got caught. At the age of 10 or 11, I clearly told him, see, one thing is I'm never going to be a doctor. Please don't pin your hopes on me. He showed me all his notes, piles of notes that he has kept about his studies. He said, I've kept all this so that one of you will become a doctor. Well, all 3 went different ways and me going nowhere. I'm only interested in biology, means I'm interested in the jungle, not in dissecting something, just looking and observing things. So, a time came when I finished my… This is not a good example, you're asking me questions, okay? I finished my what is today called as +2, is it? What do you call this? 12th. At that time it was called as pre-university course. I finished my 12th standard and I decided I will not go to the university. By then I had cycled across southern India, I had seen more life than most people would have seen. I had done some small tradings of this and that and earned a lot of money. Lot means in those days, a few thousand rupees. Maybe I had 50,000–60,000 rupees when I was 17 years of age. All rolled up, I didn't know what's banking, so rolled it up and put rubber bands and hid it all over so that my brother doesn't steal. So, I have a lot of money and I have a bicycle and I want to go to Moscow on my bicycle, I'm preparing for that. So I'm not going to the university for sure. In this family, if you fail, there's an advantage, you don't go to the university. If I knew that, I would have just failed. But the problem is I had passed. So I said, I won't go to the university, I will educate myself. He said, what? Not going to the university? I said, no. Then, once I said I'm not going to the university, suddenly I became such an evil in the family, everybody started looking at me, what is wrong with you? I said, well, I want to educate myself. How are you going to do it? I said, I think I'm doing it pretty well. But if you insist that I must read and study, then I decided that 1 year I did something very unique and uncharacteristic of me. That 1 whole year, just to handle the reaction I got, I couldn't understand, what are they reacting to? I don't want to go to the university, what is their problem? First of all, I never understood why I should go to the university. Nobody ever told me why I should go to the school. So I went to the Mysore University library every day. When the library opens at 9 o'clock, I was there, I was the first customer. When it closed at 8 o'clock, I was the last one to get out. Those days, these days many of you are well-fed and like that, we were also well-fed, but our activity was such, the level of activity was such, I'm always hungry. I would actually eat at that time at least 10 times more than what I'm eating today, at least, or much more. So I'm always hungry, doesn't matter how much I eat, I'm always hungry because my activity levels are such. This 1 year, I went without a lunch. It's not a small thing for you, you can easily go without a lunch. But for me, who was scrawny and a concave stomach all the time, going without lunch for 1 year was like a big feat. I just read anything to anything. You know, from Kalidasa to Homer, to popular mechanics, to a whole many years of National Geographic and all kinds of books of physics, mathematics and astronomy, and you take whatever. 1 whole year, every day, 11 hours a day, I read and read and read. That's the only reading I did. After that, me and books don't go. Then after 1 year, I realized that just gathering all this information is just waste of time for me. And when the next academic year came, there was drama at home. My mother was crying and said, "What are you wasting your life for? We thought you will become this, you will become that." I said, "I don't know what I'll become," but she put so much pressure, "Just get into some college. Whether you go there or not, I will not ask, just get into some college." Then I thought through this and I said, okay, I'll do literature, English literature, because in this 1 year I had developed some appetite for reading literature and poetry. And I myself was writing many poems about just about anything. So I joined literature. I went to college. On first day, a teacher comes and reads a book. Everybody is writing down, kara kara, these days it doesn't make noise, those days fountain pens, kara 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 kara, 50 people are writing kara kara. I don't like this. I said, see, I just looked into the teacher's book, then I saw it is a handwritten book, that it's her notes. I said, ma'am, if you give that book to me, I'll make photocopies of this and give it to everybody. You don't have to come, we don't have to come. But if you want me to come here, I have 1,000 questions. Not 1,000, I have millions of questions, like a dark cloud, it's hanging around my head. I'm going to ask these questions. If you cannot answer these questions, I cannot sit here. Then I made a deal with all the teachers that they give me attendance and I won't bother them with their questions. This deal worked pretty well for 3 years and I got out. Is this what my father wanted? Definitely not. Why I'm saying this to you is not to simply go against your parents, that's not the point. The point is, this life is precious. Now when you're talking about, what shall I do this, shall I do that, is it only about how to earn a living? You must get off that. This is not about… education is not about earning a living. When an earthworm can earn a living, a grasshopper can earn a living, every damn insect, bird and animal can earn a living, a street dog can earn a living, what is the big deal about survival with such a big brain? Survival is not the big thing about the human being. Survival has become a problem because you want to survive like somebody else, that's the whole problem. If you want to survive, there's not a problem. My father would ask, how will you make a living? How will you live? What will you earn? I said, if nobody wants to feed me, I'll go into the jungle. And I went into the jungle for weeks and survived very well by myself. Many times I went off into the forest and I just survived off the forest without any food support from anywhere else. So survival is not the issue. What are we going to do with this life? Are we going to take this life to full potential, or are we going to be those people who are just shit scared of life itself and what will happen to my food, what will happen to my food, what is this? When a street dog is not bothered, happily is wagging his tail and going tuk tuk tuk, what is your problem with such a big brain, I'm asking? You don't educate for survival, you educate because you want to expand your horizons. You want to make this life into a worthwhile life. That's what that matters.